What's up, guys? Back from my trip. Felt like I've been gone for a decade in crypto time, but it looks like nothing's really happened on the chart since I've been gone. So I didn't feel like I missed out on much. There's a couple of good trades here, of course, but nothing wild. We didn't leave the range. We've been stuck in consolidation since the moment I've left. Still inside this valley area. Good morning, Noah. How you doing, man? Welcome back. Thanks, guys. Yeah, it was a pretty crazy trip. We went to Mount Tremblant in like Quebec. It's like a kidcation, basically. The kids had a lot of fun. Good morning, Enzo. How you doing? Ian, Sterling, what's up, bro? Bull Runner, Matrix. I had an awesome vacation. Thank you. Can we take a look at Ethereum? Yeah, we could do that. Ramos, Austin, Sammy, Brett. Right on. It doesn't seem like I missed out on much. So let's go over, I guess, for around, yeah, this is Friday before the weekend, and yeah, I left on Monday for the trip. So during the whole trip I was gone, this was all the price action that occurred. It wasn't crazy. We fell back into our demand zone and grabbed the liquidity from these lows, and then yeah, we're on our way back up to the value area high right now. It looks like the best opportunity I could find since was probably this one right here. We had the Wyckoff Model 1 here up to the value area high, and then we hit the value area high. Looks like there was a local SFP right here. And then we also got that break, and then we had the change of character following right after, bring us down to the value area low, broke momentum, and then came right back up to the value area high to eventually come down to the value area low. So nothing crazy. I guess that was probably there's a couple of trade opportunities in here, but those are the ones I would have focused on. Congrats to anyone who made money while I was gone there. We got, yeah, that boring consolidation still. I don't mind bouncing back and forth between value high, value area low, because you get those easy trade opportunities. The next one I'll be looking for is likely going to be a short. We have I got supply concern written here, but we have like a new one formed right here that we could come up, mitigate this, get an opposing change character reaction, and then short down to our value area low. Maybe get that continuation down. Yeah, so right now I'll be mostly prepared for any potential shorts up here, or if you're not comfortable shorting it in the bull market, you want to focus on longs, then we have to wait until we get back down here again. We do have this wick low, which is kind of nice. We could see a potential sweep of that liquidity for a lower entry point, potentially down here after grabbing that liquidity. Worst case scenario, we could come down lower and grab from this low here too. So you can set alarms for both those scenarios so you can prepare. You can also prepare for the bearish scenario up here. We've got a wick here, but I would prefer, if I was to be looking for a potential SFP opportunity, to be off of at least this high over here. So you can mark your alarms for this area. You have some confluence of being at the value area high. The supply concern here that would likely get tapped into if we came up to this wick high here. So I'll mark this as a key level, get my magnet tool out. There we go. So 119,984. Let me just close this menu so it's easier for you guys to see. All right, I'm gonna clone this and get my other one set up. Mark this low and clone this one too. Mark this one. This is the extreme low of the range. So if you're going to pick you focus on your range highs and your range low. This is your range low right now. Your range high is up here. Sweeping this and then getting a full body candle acceptance back inside the range could give you a range extension. Same here, up here. If we swept this high, potentially get a range extension. If you get that full body candle close above this area or below this area, it does increase the probability of getting leaving the range. Just gonna mark this one white right here. There we go. You can also mark this wick too. Let's delete these. Clone. There we go. Cool. All right. So I'll draw pathing tools. So we can see what we're preparing for. So we're either preparing for the longs or the sweeps of these lows. Or the bearish case scenarios is similar kind of structure we'll be looking for. We do have this downtrending point of interest of squeezing the price action lower and lower and lower. And we could take a look at the order books and find out if there is sell orders chasing this trend line to help validate it. And if there is, then we know that we might not come up there. We might be forced to wait for longs if we can't get the proper R&R structure to find barriers down below. So if we do have a giant sell wall here, I'll be focusing on waiting for longs then. Let's pull up the order books. We got I left my computer on the entire time I was gone, so it took a little while for it to work for me. We have the chat. Sami, how you doing, man? Scroll down. Okay, so we have sell wall at 18. Got small ones around here, 18,600 for 100 Bitcoin. Bigger one around here. $118,880. Okay. Get a horizontal array or a horizontal line here. Coordinates. My click was off by about 20 bucks. I'm just gonna Here we go. All right, so we can see here's our sell wall that we've got in the order books. We tapped it once, so that sell wall might have been bigger around 3:30 a.m. and then we just tapped into it. We tapped into it here before as well. So it does look like there's sell pressure suppressing the price to keep it go lower. With the downtrending momentum, if we do come back up here and approach this area, like the timing might be aligned with the retest of this level and it get smacked down from here. So we could lose this point of control. Now that we know that we have like a sell wall kind of suppressing the price, unless volume were to pick up today. If volume does pick up, it'll probably be in the next like 40 minutes or so during the silver bullet period. And that might be enough to break through this, but we could see that sell orders are aligning with our trend line and kind of keep the price from going past this area. But like I said, it's a small sell wall, so it won't take much to break through it. It's about 200 Bitcoin. So we can put that, label that on our trend line here. 200 BTC sell wall. Okay, let's catch up the chat. We have Andrew. What's up, man? How you doing? Kind of cool that your son and my son was wearing the same shirt on the same day. Pretty cute. Some really capitalized on the drop and instant back up and everything. Nice. Almost all shorts have been recently have failed. Yeah, that's true. I was thinking about just being a one-dimensional trader for a little bit until we can confirm that we're going to be in a downtrend. Because all the longs have been, they've exceeded past their targets, and all the shorts either just barely met their targets or were undercut. So focusing on longs is the better call. Oh, we had a great vacation. I had an awesome vacation. All right, let's start taking your requests here, guys. So just for a quick run by with the Bitcoin price action, we're inside the Valley area still. I'd be focusing on I'd rather wait for a potential long opportunity down at the Valley area low. If we come down here and we get our change of character response, I'll be taking the trade entry after a break of potential momentum. Let's say we get a bounce like around here, right? We come down and then we get our change of character. I would, just targeting the Valley area high at that point in hopes for a break and a continuation up. But if we get that opposing change of character reaction at the levels, I wouldn't stay married to your trade. Get ready to exit. And hopefully, if we do get the long opportunity, that we come down lower, deviate from the Valley area a little bit, sweep liquidity so we can get that better risk to reward ratio when targeting the Valley area high, and be mindful, of course, of the point of control along the way. But yeah, that's what I'll be mostly hoping for, is just those long opportunities down at these lows. And hopefully volume picks up a little bit to bring us down there faster, so we don't have to wait until the end of the day for that to occur. Let's see, check my mic settings here, guys. So normally I can hear myself through. Okay, there we go. Yesterday was Flash Day. Yeah. What's up, man? Tom Strock. Mike sounds good. Thanks, man. Okay, let's start with Jeff's request. He asked if we take a look at Ethereum. Probably a good call to look at Ethereum first before the other alts. There's ETH likes to move, a majority of them. Okay, so Ethereum. Whenever Ethereum done some moves while it's gone. If Bitcoin's boring, typically everything else is not, right? Oh, I got tons of noise on this chart. I got to clear it up a bit. All right, we have our structural Valley area high, really, really important to prepare for like macro shorts if we get acceptance back inside of it. But right here, that $4,000 level is really important. If we break past that, we can surpass all-time high relatively easily after passing this area. All right, so let's take a peek here. Let's delete this, delete that, get rid of some of this noise. We don't need this anymore. We mitigated that whole area. All right, we grabbed all this as well, so we can delete that. This was a historical supply zone. We tapped into it once, had this drawdown from it, came in through here, completely mitigated it from this high. Now we're going range bound, developing a new valley area with majority of the volume being close to the structural valley area high. So if we lose this valley area low and have have it act as resistance, we simultaneously get acceptance into the structural valley area again, like the more macro one from historical price action. And I'll zoom out again just so you guys can see what I'm talking about when I talk about that. Oh, let's undo that move. And let's lock that thing. Let's see. There we go. Sorry. All right. Zooming out. I'm on the 4-hour now. This is the structural valley area I'm talking about here. Had a lot of sway over the price action historically for here. And when we get acceptance into this area, it tends to cause us to come back to the structural valley area low, which is way down at $3,000 here. So that's the bearish case scenario. If we get that acceptance to the valley area and that more macro change of character, but the 4-hour is pretty low. Yeah, we need to come down to here. If we break this level, then I'll feel a lot more comfortable about targeting that 3,000K level, $3,040. We can delete this. We don't need that anymore. Now, of course, we could front run this if there's a front run opportunity. But I'd set alarms around here to prepare for that break of structure continuation. Actually, the change of character on the 4-hour. All right, back on the 15-minute. But yeah, until we lose this active valley area, we should be preparing for our longs as well in this area here. So we come back down to 3,700 and we get that posing change of character. We can start targeting the valley area high again. I'm going to delete this zone because we don't need it anymore. We should mark a new level here to here. Send this to back. I'm going to adjust my style on this developing valley area. Just doing a test on a strategy there, so I need to see that. Back testing when you have developing valley areas turned on, it's way easier because you can see how the valley area developed over time. So this was the valley area high here, right? And eventually it became this point. This is the valley area low. And now it's this point here. So when you're doing your back testing, if you're trying to find out if your strategy rules are working well at a faster pace, then turning on developing valley area and developing point of control, that's super helpful. Okay, so yeah, we're just preparing for longs down at these areas, depending what kind of structure we get. We got this rounded top here that's let us down here so far. It's just a matter of waiting for that structure and confluence with Bitcoin's price action down at these lows at the valley area low. Alexo Crypto, what's up, man? I'm back. My vacation was pretty fun. I'll send you guys some pictures in the server so you guys can see what we were up to. It's pretty cool. We went to Park Omega. The kids love that. You can feed animals. It's kind of like the Canadian version of a safari. You're just driving around and feeding Canadian animals, like moose and deer and black bears and stuff like that. Okay. First request was Pangu. So let's pull that up. I don't know if we have a chart for that. We do not. Okay, so I'm just going to pull up Bitcoin's chart. Check that out next. All right, let's go to the Binance chart. Okay, this thing's been on a tear. Nice. Close all-time highs. Starting to lose momentum. Okay, so this is the momentum here. Not perfect. Looks like it evolved. Yeah, it evolved. Okay. It lost the evolving momentum. We don't need to mark that. Let's mark up the here to here. It looks like we're hitting our head off some of the previous value area data. We got this demand zone right below this double top, and we tapped into it. And sorry, my computer's so sluggish right now. Let's pull a valley area from here to here. Okay. Alt J, and then we're gonna Alt J right here too. Alt J will bring up that horizontal array faster for you. Mark our previous value area high, our previous point control, and our previous value area low. And then we got our active one right here. Okay, and Alt J. Get this going. Cool. Okay. All right, so we got our local data marked. We know that we are tapping into this uptrending momentum. It's fairly macro. It's been holding it up for a while now, ever since it came from, where was that? June 25th. Okay, so time-wise, not that long. But price-wise, it's been doing extremely well. We're at, what, 0.0082, and now we are over 3 cents. So congrats to anyone who might have gotten in on that. That's insane. Crazy gains. If you entered Pangu in the last golden cross, you'd be up like 500% gain. Yeah. It was looking just over like 400% from when I saw that. That's ridiculous. Congrats to anyone who you took that. With alts, it's a little bit iffy jumping on the golden cross, but a lot of people respond to it. A lot of volume come in, pumps like crazy. To get that structural confluence alongside the golden cross in your set. We currently have broken down trending momentum, like right now in the 4-hour time frame. We broke down trending momentum at our current value area, and we're trying to get acceptance into it. We're pulling back. Let's see. We did break through these lows, grabbed liquidity, and tapped onto this previous demand zone. It's possible we could see Pangu like have a really healthy reset using this as our demand. And going range bound here between these two value areas for a bit. That would be the healthy thing for it to do for like a good reset. If we don't get that, let's look at the 15 for a second. So if we're at our value area low, we did just have that opposing change of character here. When we came up, we got this break of structure, giving us as our strong low on the 15, and then we broke that strong low. So the 15 is technically bearish right now, but I think the next time it leads into being bullish, it could be a great long opportunity. Fractalizing double bottom postures, double bottom here, potential double bottom that could form here. Right, maybe we revisit this uptrending momentum, tap it, get that change of character reaction, then start coming back up. With this being a neckline to a larger time frame double bottom, allowing us to target this value area high again. So I think it's just a matter of waiting for that potential bullish posture, that bullish structure. And when the 15-minute flips bullish again, I'd be looking for longs. And that we do have some supply concerns along the way. This run up here did mitigate a couple of concerns. So basically, in confluence with these order blocks and this supply barrier here, we have this high. So if we do get that bullish change of character, this is going to be your primary boss, other than the VWAP, of course. That thing is king. But this will be your primary concern before trying to get to this target of the value area high. So it might be your TP1. You can mark this here. This will be like, yeah, TP1 for sure. Now, I'm hoping that by the time we get the structural confluence on Pangu for your setup here, that the VWAP catches up and comes in line with our key level. So you can have that additional confluence. And you don't have to worry about hitting your head off the VWAP and it coming back down further. So it's just a matter of trying to get that VWAP confluence, cross your fingers for it, so you don't have to worry about it along the way up. And I think that's very likely, like based on the pace that we're currently dropping, the VWAP will catch up faster. And if we go range bound here for a little bit, we'll get it fully caught up to give you that long opportunity. But yeah, this is pretty clean, easy, clean setup. We have some double distribution. So two key areas of interest, basically, right here and right here. So price action should move quickly between these zones. So if we get that confirmation, hopefully you get that fast move up. And after getting past this area here, it should slow down at this point of control. That's what I'll be waiting for. It's just that 15-minute change of character. All right, let's go back to Bitcoin chart here. It's like here. Just gonna copy this image. Just pull up a Discord here so I can take note of this. There we go. All right, what's the next request? We got try Lasso for your system. It might give you a little boost you need. Thanks, man. I'll check that out. All right, so we checked out Bitcoin, we checked out Ethereum, we checked out Pangu. Let's check out Dot now. Let's go to start. Okay. Dot. All right, looks like we hit our little supply concern up here. I'm just gonna zoom out on the daily really quick. Oh, my chart's sped up. Thank God. Okay. All right. Yeah, so we broke this momentum. Looks like that's what we were talking about last. We had this uptrending momentum here leading up into this supply concern. We hit our head off of that area. We can now basically just move this here, honestly. Still a zone of interest. Let's grab. We can delete this. It's not going to help us for anything now. Delete this. 358 is a big, strong core area, so I'm going to keep that on there. So what we're trying to see Dot accomplish is getting to the opposite side of this valley area. So if we get up there, it's like we could see it teleport from like $7 potentially to $10 from there. It gets pretty low gravity once we get up here. It's just a matter of getting there. Like every single supply concern. It's not like other assets where it outperforms and just melts right through it, right? It takes every one of these supply zones seriously, and we have really strong corrections off of them. And now we're back below its macro valley area low again. So it's just we gotta get that stay above. We gotta get above the point of control and stay above the point of control. And we do have, because it's such an aged valley area right here, all these volume nodes you gotta take pretty seriously. And it's the reason why I still have like point of control still drawn here from this area, same here. Then we have the active one here, because each one of them are strong levels that we got to watch out for. But getting past this area here, we could see this is kind of like if we get past this, we could move quickly to $6.40, and that's kind of like the final boss before getting to that value high again. So Dot, it's still, in my opinion, it's something that it's a strong buy. I've got some Dot holding it for that return to the value area high. It's an easy, like, 2x, right? A little over 2x. I'll grab our downtrending momentum. Let's delete this. Okay. So this is our macro value area low right here. Almost perfectly aligned with this previous value area low here. We're zooming in. Let's go to 15. We had this really awkward rounded top, and then it just fell over. A very low volume climb with a regression trend right here. Seeing this regression trend, you know, break its momentum, you'd be targeting here initially, but it surpassed that area. And now we're back at these lows. So we're in a spot just like with majority of the assets that we were looking at, where you'd typically want to prepare for longs or a long-term spot hold, honestly. We do have this downtrend momentum here from the 4-hour. We can align it with our time frame like this here. So we're waiting for that. Yeah, we probably have to wait a little bit longer with this asset, but we can probably see it go range bound at these lows and then prepare for a break of the momentum with the change of character reaction and start targeting the supply concern up here again in hopes that we break past it. We have a point of control along the way with this supply zone here. You could mark that area too. We can mark our high over here in case there's liquidity resting above it that could sweep and cause a return. So I'll mark it as local resistance. You can verify that using liquidity heat maps. But yeah, it's a matter of just waiting, I guess. We have this wick here, which is kind of nice. We could potentially see that swept for an SFP opportunity. You can mark the wick low. The 15-minute looks like a great time frame to look at for that. So does the 5. So I would start with the 5. If you see the sweep on the 5 fail, then you switch over to the 15-minute. And it will fail by seeing like a candle close below this on the 5. And if it doesn't happen on the 15, then there's probably going to be about 10 to 5 more minutes left before you can see the 15-minute candle complete the SFP. So this will be an SFP low that you can watch at $3.62, 3.627. You can set your alarm, leave the message telling you what it is. Dot, do 5-minute SFP. I'm going to copy this image too, post it in our chat. I just want to keep note of all this stuff so we don't miss out on these opportunities. Potential 5-minute dot SFP at, what was that level? At $3.627. I think I spelled the word minute right. There we go. All right, let's save this chart. Let's switch it to the 15 for anyone who's using the chart. All right, got our Ethereum down here. Ethereum should work well alongside with DOT, sweeping that low if Ethereum comes down towards its low. You might get that simultaneous reaction. All right, that's DOT, man. We have, I think we have 3 requests for Cardano. So let's knock out those 3 requests simultaneously. And then we'll do Link for Noah right after, and then CRV for Bull Runner. We got 48 people on YouTube, 27 on Twitter. This isn't my normal time, so I understand that might be a little less people today. But yeah, welcome to the party, guys. You can ask me any questions you like. Ask me to look at any assets. Is it September yet, bro? I don't like September because it warns me that winter is close. Like the weather-wise is great, but psychologically, it's like that September, and I don't like it. Let's get our Cardano request going here. We got ADA. Okay, so we're back down to 76 again. 76, this is a big, strong key level. It looks like the last time we were looking at Cardano, we were preparing for our longs at these previous value area low area here and targeting the value area high. Congrats to anyone who might have taken it. They had two opportunities, like here and here. Let's see. Yeah, we're just getting stuck range bound now. So we got that slight deviation away from the value area. We see it act as resistance like this. Whenever you see it come down, come up, retest, and get that lower low, you have to assume that we're going from this value area to a new value area. That's kind of what we did over here. We were using this as a key level of support. We can delete this high interest VPR marker. Let's get this marked here. All right, we've got our value area high. We've got our point control. We can delete this data here, here, and here. Okay. We have the 50-day EMA right here. We have the 200-day EMA right here. We just had a bullish cross. And during this, when the 50 crosses above the 200 like that, that's very, very bullish. A lot of automated bots buy off of that. Let's see, got this downtrending momentum here. So the pace of the sellers. We got a bit of a squeeze event happening. That's the pace of the buyers. So we're building a falling wedge posture and creeping towards a strong bullish level. We got this previous point of control, so a volume node right here. It's actually decently strong. And we have the 50-day EMA aligned with that, catching up. So we shouldn't see price break through this area in confluence with this bullish posture, suggesting that we have more liquidity stacking above us locally than we do below us because we keep taking the liquidity from below us, right? And stacking more above us. So that's why falling wedges, when you look them up, they give you the technical target with the bullish bias of breaking to the upside. But again, if we lost the 50-day or the 200-day, it doesn't mean we have to break to the upside, right? If we lost these levels, we'd definitely be breaking to the downside at that point. This key level of support that we can't lose. So watch 73.3 like a hawk. Prepare for potential longs around here with the confluence of 50-day EMA. And if we do get the downtrending momentum break right here, I'll be targeting these highs here. While of course being mindful of all the barriers along the way, right? We have the liquidity zone here, here. The value area low at 78.79 should take that one seriously as well. We had consistently act as a form of support, and now we just recently seen it act as resistance. But the nature of the resistance, we've stacked more liquidity up here. We can validate that really quick. Let's go to the liquidation heat maps. Let's first find the age of the downtrending momentum in this range. To go from at least here to here is 10 days. All right, click on symbol. Then we're going to find Cardano, ADA. I'm curious to look at the 24-hour as well. All right, so grab liquidity from these highs from people jumping into shorts too soon. They got wicked out before we came down. It looks like we're hunting the liquidity at 74,475. It's about $2 million. At that level, there's still liquidity along the way. So probably in total close to about 4 million along the way. What's that? 74, 475. Seventy-four, 475. Right. So about 2 million. Worth liquidity here. So you can mark that level, prepare for a potential reversal off of it. Remember, liquidity helps large investors jump in with the least amount of price impact. So these are going to be areas where big investors will be interested in jumping in, including market makers, like to try to build plays off those levels too. Could use as an exit plan or an entry plan. So here we can also now zoom out. We need to wrap and encase the falling wedge, right? And now it's 10-day falling wedge. So we're gonna use the 2-week chart. It's a 14-day period. And we're gonna find out how the liquidity has behaved from that falling wedge. So we see we kept taking and taking from below, right? And we're stacking more and more above us. Looks like a majority of it is at this high over here, 85.65. So majority of it's all through here. So I'd be prepared for a full-on reversal at this point if we can't make it past here. If we see any warning signs for the bearish price action, get that bearish change of character reaction, I'll listen to it. Maybe at least depending on where your entry is, if you get it in on like a potential SFP sweep or any around these lows before the break of momentum, then you might be able to take a partial out depending on the structure. If you see any of that bearish case scenario warning signs, like that bearish change character reactions, take a partial, move your stop loss to the profit zone depending on the price action at a strong low, in hopes that we continue to go back up to the full on target. But yeah, we should mark this level, take it seriously just in case. We might not hit that target because of this level. All right. Let's mark as local resistance at 85.41. But yeah, macro structure looking bullish. Looks like it's setting up for liquidity grabs to these highs. Just a matter of waiting for the entries, a safe entry around these lows. So this boss number 1 right here, boss number 2, and then your target. Okay. I hope that helps you guys out. Went through Noah's request. We went through Sal's here. And yeah. I think there's another one too that we helped out. Oh yeah, there we go. Let's move that one. Okay. So Hbar and Teao. And then we'll look at Link after. We have an Hbar chart. Routed top as well, eh? A little more transparent that we're dropping on Hbar. The structure was a little more obvious. That's frustrating undercut to this high. I could see that annoying some people, wanting to see that taken before jumping in on a short. Right, just barely undercutting it. It might have been grabbed on other exchanges, but on Binance, it definitely has not. We mark this level as an SFP level. There we go. Let's grab. Just gonna zoom out a bit. Okay, so we grabbed our technical target. Level here has been marked for this high. We need to have acceptance into this value area. On the daily, we never got that proper break of structure that we don't want to see inside a value area. So we're kind of like failing that. We hit our head off the point of control and we had a local SFP off of it from this wick here, grabbed from this area here, which kind of put this low on the date on the 4 hour. Right here, once we got this SFP, you'd watch this local low here, but kind of puts this area under attack. When we bounced off of the previous value area high, used it as support after breaking momentum, failed that. We got a slight undercut to that level that we are talking about before. But now we're kind of just waiting for that potential continuation to the upside. There's our momentum. Can mark a fib level from this low here to this high, or we can do it off the impulse move from here to here. I'm going to try it from the low here first. So from the impulse move, we're in our zone now where we prepare for that bullish structure. Need to see the change of character reaction. If it fails in this area, then I'd rotate your fib pull from the impulse move to the low. And so we get that capture here instead. Just a matter of waiting for the right structure, right? So we could get the bounce right off the point of control of this area, or we can get the structural return around this area and then start targeting these highs up here again. So you gotta be a little patient and wait for that structural posture. We got the confluence here. I like this zone a little more. We have the confluence of the previous point of control on the low side of a previous value area. That could bring us up to the high side up here. See if we return, yeah. That would work well alongside Bitcoin's positioning as well. So I'll leave this here. Just marking the buyer's momentum here really quick. Off these 3 touch points. This low here, and this low here. Let's see if we get it here. That's Hbar. Not really much more. It's kind of the same as everything else. Trying to get back into this previous demand zone. Trying to return to the price point control. We got a tracement level on the fibs from this low to this high. And we're kind of slowly approaching this uptrending momentum. We do have a wick level right here. We could SFP this if we were to like breach this momentum. But either way, yeah, I'll be preparing for mostly longs. All right. I hope that helps you out, man. Teao and Link. Okay, let's do Link next. And then we'll do CRV, then Teao. All right, let's pull up Link. I did manage to get you guys a discount, by the way, for Flux charts. I know some people were interested in their indicators. So if you guys are interested in trying them out, you just use the code and invest a share, and you'll get 15% off now. I'll let you guys know if I can get a hold of any other deals for you guys for Flux charts. That's the one we got right now. I am building a strategy with it that's pretty darn interesting. I can let you guys know when that's done. It's just a matter of forward testing a little bit now that the back testing results are really good. Really high win rate, but the R&R is not always there. But if you take the trade, the probability is always there. The probability is really, really high. I'm just going to reduce this indicator here. Help us with the noise. All right, this was it looks like we were preparing for a long last time here as well for Chainlink. We got that. Doesn't look except the value area, break of structure, continuation. We're marking this supply concern here. We tapped into it a couple times before breaking it, and then kind of hitting our head off this volume shelf right here, close to the point of control. Then we lost uptrending momentum, came down from there, and now we're looking a lot like Hbar, like almost identical. We have this demand zone here. We pretty much fully mitigated it with this wick. So it's weak now, like super weak now. So just prepare for that. Send it back. So with Chainlink, same kind of story as Hbar, except Chainlink doesn't really have that longer term momentum holding it up anymore. It just looks like it's trying to consolidate. I'm gonna draw this here for a sec. There we go. So we're at this previous value area low here. We had this historical value area that helped us a lot in our trades for Chainlink since this moment where we lost this momentum and had that bearish change of character. It kind of helped us establish this as a full-on range. This was our previous short that we tried to take to this value area low. Some of us were able to stay in to this low, but I was a little aggressive with my stop loss, so I got knocked out from this wick up. But now we're waiting for longs. So here we can either get the SFP sweep from this low, and that could help us cause a return back up and break this momentum. If we break the momentum after a bullish change of character response, we can start targeting these highs here again. Well, of course, being mindful of the barriers along the way, right? We got this as a potential local area of resistance where there could be liquidity resting above here to use as exit liquidity. Mark this high as well the same way. We mitigated most of the supply here when we came up here last time, so I'm not going to box it. So same kind of story as Hbar. Either we get that bullish change character response, or we get the SFP off this wick. All right, we're at 1677. And targeting Yeah, your primary target would just be this high up here, 1955. And if we break past that and come up, I'll be prepared to close around $20.12 and see what kind of bearish structure we can get there. So these are your little barriers right here. This one here is stronger than this one with the confluences in this area. Previous value low to get your head off of. We got the point of control you can hit your head off of. So there are more confluences here to be worried about than this one, but still take this one seriously. But this, yeah, again, primary targets here. I'll just mark it like this. All right, save. Delete this. Okay, that's Chainlink. Let's see what we got. Chat. Am I catching up here? No problem, man. All right, what's next? CRV. I think we have a CRV chart. I'll double check. Nope. Okay. All right, let's pull it up on Bitcoin chart. Let's see it on Binance. Structurally, CRV is communicated its drop a lot better. Where we saw those rounded tops, it got one too, but we had some the key levels that were very transparent. When we lost our key level, we were below the VWAP, so we had a really good structural guard for our stop loss. Probably like a 5-minute strong high here alongside the VWAP could have helped you with your short. We already hit the measurable target. We do have this low here that we could sweep. We do have this little demand zone alongside of this 15-minute order block generated from this doji. Did Karma get listed? Karma is not listed yet. It might have got automatic. So there's an application made for CoinMarketCap and for CoinGecko to get listed there. Because we're really close to the requirement to get listed on CoinMarketCap, and that will provide us with their API. That's the main thing. We want to get access to their APIs, and we get access to that once Karma's listed on CoinMarketCap. And that will allow us to use their price system for like a lot of cool stuff. Allow us to get listed on centralized exchanges because a lot of centralized exchanges use their aggregator for stuff, and decentralized ones too. It's kind of bizarre how many platforms depend on CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap. Is insane. But yeah, it's a huge staple for growing assets. So we're close. I think I think Karma needs about 600 more transactions. I'll look on Binance Smart Chain really quick for you and find out. And that's it there. Someone went crazy and did a lot of small transactions to boost Karma. And I appreciate them doing that, but it must have cost quite a bit in fees. To try to verify if I'm human. All right, so here's Karma on Binance Smart Chain. Man, it's taking a while to load. Sorry, guys. Yeah, we're at 9,426 transfers. So this is the last requirement for Karma to get listed on CoinMarketCap. So we need to have a total of 10,000. So we're pretty close. We're really close to that requirement. We meet the holder requirement, which is 1,000 or more. We got 2,251. We meet the safety requirement, and all the other small little stuff. There's about 50 requirements, and now we're at the last final one. So once we get about 600 more transactions, then we'll be listed on CoinMarketCap. All right, going back to CRV. Let's see. I'm going to pull it up on the daily really quick. We know what we're looking at. Locally, it's pretty simple. Yeah, it looks like this thing's been on a run. At macro value area high. Yeah, macro previous value area high. What's it from its low to its high is 100%. So we're bound to have turbulence where we are, being at this previous valley area, or this macro valley area high that's influenced the price action for 750 days. Now we're at that valley area high where most people are going to be preparing for shorts. Anyone who'd accumulate at this valley area low, they're up 2x right now on their account. So it would be inevitable to see it slow down a little bit here. We did have that pullback, which is healthy at the higher high. But we could start to see like a Wyckoff distribution, head and shoulders kind of posture being formed here that we got to watch out for. We're on the daily. Let's switch over to the 15-minute. Zoom out a little bit here. Let's pull a fixed range volume profile from the start of this little demand zone here that warned us that this range would occur. Whenever we see these little impulse move, base, another impulse move, your first bearish change of character, you should assume that this is likely going to be the floor of a range. And it actually maintained the floor for quite a while. All right. Once that wants to render, there we go. But locally, we want to prepare for longs, but macro, you got to prepare for potential strong short. Yeah. So just down here, you can mark a fib from the low to this wick high. From here to here. We're at the golden pocket right now, alongside with the point of control. That could be enough for it to induce a bounce and break or come back up to retest the VWAP, like targeting the VWAP. If you want a better potential R&R setup, like down here, it's a great spot to prepare for longs as well. We've got the 15-minute order block, got a little demand zone on the 5-minute in this area right here. And we're close to the value area low, so we might actually deviate lower at this point. This is a really good spot to prepare for longs in general right here. Just mark this whole area. So let's see what we got for our volume data. One potential possibility that I personally wouldn't trade it, because out of all the stuff that we looked at, there's a lot more cleaner, safer trades. But here, if we get that bullish change of character response off the point of control and off the golden pocket level, I'll be mindful of where the VWAP is in confluence with this volume node here. Because as it catches up, this could be a key level to prepare for a harsh rejection. And it might actually align with like a bearish retracement level, depending on where our low is. That's what I'd be. So I'll be patient with this one. Even if you see the break, I personally wouldn't take it. If it follows along your rules, then great. But personally, I'll be waiting for longs around this low, these lows here. And this is your macro low levels here that you don't want to have broken on like the 4 hour. It's like I said before, this is you're at a macro value area high. Or large, like big traders prepare for potential exits. Go the 4 hour for this actually. Measure 4 hour wick level. Body candle close below here would likely bring us down to 82.27 or 82.27. Like minimum. Where this is where I likely expect a strong bounce. So that's CRV. I hope that helps you out, man. Can we analyze HRJ signal from the community? Never trade those assets, JTO and WLD. Yeah, you can do that. I'm actually curious too. I have been away since he started with us. Let's go down. HRJ. Where'd he go? Oh, sorry. Sorry. Okay, so looking at HRJ signal. So he trades via limit orders, right? So he's trying to get in on this demand zone high and using the low as this invalidation point, because if that were to break, it would basically tell you that the whole demand zone has been mitigated. So he's a limit trader, and he has these red levels marked as your supply zones, similar to how we marked our key levels where high amounts of liquidity could rest that could be used as an exit plan. He's got all these levels marked, and well, taking each individual level very, very seriously, because we might not hit that target, but that's his like primary target. And like based on the entry points and where his stop loss is, it will provide you a 1 to 15 R&R if that whole target was taken and if you didn't take any partials along the way. It's very likely that you'll be taking potential partials at like 158.9, where this wick is here. Let's see where this price action's at, because he's looking at the daily right now. So there's a lot of time could pass before this confirms. See. So this is WLD. Let's pull it up. WorldCoin. I've traded WorldCoin before. So he's looking at the daily. This is the level right here that he's watching. This is the demand zone. Let me just draw it here. Right. So the high of this level is defined on this wick. It's around 98.2. And we got the low around 85.8. We're pulling back after a tweezer top reaction to these levels here. Let's see if there's any other confluences. We have this from here to here. Confluences, you can see the golden pocket low is alongside the top of this demand zone, and the 786 is within it. So there's some confluences with Fibonacci as well. But here is a big concern that if broke, we need to break past this, basically. If we get past this level, sec here, guys, where he marked the first resistance in the signal, right? If we get past that, then awesome. Because then at the same time, like based on what I've got marked in my chart, we have this downtrend momentum that will break. And it will be the like a double bottom break as well. So it usually will induce a lot of buyers at that where the buy side liquidity is resting right above that level. I could actually see it, yeah, getting potentially even higher. This is a macro level, right? This is a downtrending level that's been holding it down set for 500 days. So this is going to be a big ask for us to be able to break past this. But if we do break past this, then I could see his full target being very simple, attainable at that point. But this is your primary boss. Like we got to get past 162. Otherwise, yeah, obviously otherwise it's not possible for us to hit the rest of the targets. But yeah, we had this little neckline created from this little supply concern where we had this impulse move down, built a base with a pullback, and then built another impulse move down, creating this supply concern. We tapped into it, add more liquidity. We have a daily order block there that's yet to be mitigated. But yeah, around this area, I personally don't like to limit order in to stuff. His strategy is based on like high probability entries, and he's using limit orders to save money on fees. And it's also very helpful for anyone who wants to try to take a passive approach to trading. Me personally, I would like to see a daily change of character reaction if I'm using daily posture to define a swing trade. So I would want to see something like that. You will probably give up some of your profits, but by waiting for that daily change of character reaction, you will be putting your money to work immediately after you're entering, right? Whereas if you enter a limit order at this area, you might be waiting a little bit before your money starts bringing you some gains, right? Until that bull structure potentially appears and starts driving the price up. But that's a great spot to prepare for longs for sure. I hope that helps you out with the signal for HRJ there. What do you mean by demand zone? So there's either a demand zone or a supply zone. Demand zones where, if I were to explain it in like kindergartner mode, it's like basically where buyers are waiting, and supply zones where sellers are waiting. And how we are able to detect that is just by using structure and sometimes statistical zones too. Structurally, this is an area where you can expect potential buyers waiting. If you see an order block, that's a form of demand or supply as well. It's like, for example, this one right here, we have a daily order block down here. It's a form of demand because that structure defines evidence that there could be residual buyers here and that all those buying orders might not have been filled. So between this doji low and this doji high here and this giant impulse move, we created a daily order block that we could expect some demand in this area. So here's a demand zone. Here's a demand zone. We have a supply zone here. Supply zones are easy to identify too whenever you see those fast move downs. And then we consolidate a little bit, another fast move down. It tells you that there could be trapped buyers there or residual sell orders, right? The trapped buyers, the evidence comes from the green candles coming up, right? We have those wicks here as well. There are people buying into sell orders. And then we had that fast move down. The fast movement shows you that there could have been a large order put in place that, might not allow people to exit in time. Lots of ways to identify it. I like using valley areas too. Like valley areas are extremely helpful. I'll go to Bitcoin's price action to show you a really good example because we're in a range, right? So see here, this value area high, where people usually tend to sell, value area low, people tend to buy. And then in here, we have a lot. This is your fair value area where a large amount of people tend to do most of their transactions, especially retail. Market makers will try to manipulate price action to move from one side of the value area to the other. And my goal with my strategy is to follow along them, using the market maker as a tool to help drive the price up and manipulate retail to come up, so I can then use their exit plan as a part of my own exit plan. So supply would be the top of this value area, and demand would be on the bottom here. But yeah, just think of demand as just areas where people are waiting to buy, and supply is the opposite. Okay, we are getting a little bit of bounce off of the point of control. Can we analyze cubic? Yeah, let's take a peek at cubic. Wonder how it's doing since I've been gone. It's just been chilling after that run up. I think we finally broke past the key level, right? I'm gonna close some of my charts. Got too many. Starting to slow down. There we go. Starting to speed up. All right, let's pull up cubic. All right. So, we talked about the possibility of a head and shoulders forming here. It looks like we built one actually here. This ascending one instead. So we got, I think it's because we got this bounce, we hit our head off the supply zone. So if we came down, we could have hit our head off the value area high, which we kind of did. Yep, we kind of had that motion. We maintained the bodies above this uptrending momentum, and then we came down, grabbed the liquidity from these lows, grabbed more further after inducing more liquidity from below, and then came back up. We've got above our supply concern that we have marked on cubic. Pretty cool. We're above the previous value high. I think that's a macro one too, so I'll double check on that. And we just had the question about demand. So here's another good example of one where we have this fast move up, built this base, another fast move up. So we can prepare for this to potentially act as a form of support as we potentially progress down to these lows again. So you'd mark, we can delete this supply concern where we hit our head off of and helped us prepare for this drop, right? Now this will help us prepare for a potential pump. So let's delete this. Let's mark this level here. Send it back. We can mark a valley area from here to here in case we get acceptance back inside this valley area. So if we breach past this demand zone, we don't have it honored as a form of support with a bullish change of character, then we could quickly get acceptance into this valley area. And if we do, we could see a potential full return back down to the valley area low. But I'd take this area pretty seriously. If we come down below this demand zone, I could easily see us bounce off this level as a form of support. We have a confluence of the point of control being really close to the valley area high. Let's see, and that point of control also being this previous valley area high here. Let me just mark this with an M, so we know it's a macro level. Let's zoom out and see where it came from really quick. Okay, so it's kind of slightly out of line. There we go. So Cubic, we've kind of broke past that really strong 200-day EMA. Finally broke past this neckline. I'm a holder of Cubic. I'm not a big holder of Cubic, but I've been holding it since around these. I gotta find my average, but I think the community brought it to me around this point here. And I started accumulating it around here. Not very much, but a lot of people are in the profit. We've got to the opposite side of this valley area, which is a 51% move. We breached past the valley area high with a break of structure here on the daily. It's our daily strong low around these levels. Yeah, around this low here. So we're daily on the bullish until we break this level right now. We're getting a bit of a pullback, so that's healthy to see. That could bring us down to our demand zone, retest the valley area high, retest this more macro daily demand zone, and the lower time frame demand zone that we were just talking about here. That could help us drive the price up to these extreme highs again, way up here, which is from the valley area high to here, it's another 87%. Around there, I would definitely be cautious, prepare for a potential pullback. They did improve their tokenomics during this period here, I believe. But it's just has more and more reason to pump now. I'm sure there's more to it as well. So for me personally, like based on what I'll be waiting for is a retracement down to these lows. We could grab liquidity from this wick while simultaneously tapping the demand zone. That'll be incredible long around here. Now the long might only last until the top of the range. So you got to prepare for any bearish reactions to this downtrending momentum. Let's get your magnet tool out. Make sure you're getting out that wick. There we go. So yeah, like I said before, potential SFP reaction in confluence with the tap of this demand zone would be a great spot to prepare for longs. And then you watch this downtrending momentum as your primary target. If we break past that, then you can start targeting these extreme highs. But Cubic kind of needs to consolidate for a little while after that sprint to the upside, right? It's getting tired. Okay. Catch up the chat. No problem, man. Getting to realize Fanova is crickets when Gala is away. Didn't see these Fanova. These signals are from Vesture, right? Yeah, Vesture has some unique signal providers that Fanova does not have. Sounds like something Wagner would do, yeah. Okay, trying to catch up here. We got, so we looked at CR. Did we look at CRO? I feel like we looked at CRO. Let me double check. Kronos. Okay. Last time you said it was bearish, but now it's different. Let's see what you mean by that. We were in or at the top of this big supply zone. Let's see, zoom out on the daily here. Okay, we came down. Yeah, so down, yeah, it looks like the last time we were looking at was July 25th. We have a long position tool out. We had the squeeze against the momentum, targeting the valley area high, or at least the supply concern right here at this demand zone, at this point control. It looks like this played out really well. We might have taken that as a community trade. It's July 7th. Okay, that was a little while ago. And then it does look like we did some TA over here. We were, definitely in a zone where you would want to prepare for us to go range bound. Got to the top of this supply concern here. This is where you prepare for a bearish reaction. I just want to mark the horizontal ray off of these wicks here. I want to see if we grabbed. Okay, we did grab here liquidity from this high. This little wick here. So we had a daily SFP. This is called a legacy SFP when you're grabbing liquidity that's or high from this level over here. And then we had simultaneously got a local SFP by grabbing the wick high right here with this level, with this candle. And we've almost, so from here, you'd be targeting these lows. And we're still technically have not hit that target yet. We're very, very close to stopping people out who may have taken that daily SFP. But overall, this is still the target is still, I guess that we could have actually, sorry, I kind of had a brain fart there. You can clearly see that right after this SFP, within the following day here, we came down and we grabbed and hit the target. So we grabbed the low and even SFP'd off the SFP target. Kind of awkward. Let's see. Now we're building a doji. We got 8 hours left on this candle. We can pull a fixed range. We can delete this now that we're up here. Pull a new fixed range blowing profile. So coming down, I prepare for a potential SFP from here. There's not much left other than that. Let's go to the 15-minute. You got a 15-minute you can watch. Let's see what the 5 looks like. Yeah, you could front run it as early as the 5. The 15-minute, honestly, it's the safer call. If you're looking for a 15-minute SFP, by then would deviate away from the valley area. So if we do grab the SFP, you got to treat the valley area low as your first primary barrier. And based on the structure that we're forming right now, this could become a supply concern for sure. All we need is that, that break of structure. Probably move fast down after that. Sweep up the liquidity, and then you got to treat this as your first barrier concern when we come back up. If we breach past that, then you can start extending your target to the valley area high. That's Kronos, man. Going back to the Bitcoin chart. So time for Teao. Yeah. Let's do Teao. Teao USDT. Last time I looked at that was the 21st, so about 10 days ago. Okay. We have this valley area that we can adjust until we lost it right here. Right? Whenever you see this, guys, this in itself is a type of confirmation for certain traders, for trend traders. If you are a trend trader and you see a pullback hit of the value area low like this, and then we get that break of structure, it tells you we're very likely going to be moving to a new value area, either creating a new one or coming back to a previous one. And creating a new one usually occurs when you're in price discovery. We created this value area with a head and shoulders. So we retested not just the value area, but we also retested that head and shoulders neckline, giving us a target of where we are. So we already hit the target after we got acceptance into this previous value area. So we have this value area data here helping us. It helped assist us in preparing for this bounce here. And we got the bounce here off of it. And now we're using it as resistance. So again, it's looking structurally right now as we speak, as I was trying to prepare for a bullish move. We had all this bearish play. This was very textbook, by the way. When you see like the Wyckoff distribution or head and shoulders here in conflict with the valley area, and then both simultaneously acting as resistance and getting below the VWAP with that break of structure, you'd have your stop loss guard here and you'd be targeting here. So your trade would look like basically like this, right? Congrats to anyone who might have taken that. Super textbook. Right now we're at a previous point of control. From the low to the high, we're bouncing off of the point of control and confluence with the gold pocket. It's not looking very strong, but if we get that return up, I'll be watching the VWAP. Personally, I'll be waiting until we come down to these lows. Could get that wick capture for an SFP. I don't like trading near the point control very often, unless it's at the very extreme high or extreme low of the valley area, and I'm using it as confluence for a stop loss guard after the break of it. But when it's right in the middle like this, I do not like trading off of it. So I'll be patient and hope for a return down to these lows. If I don't get the setup, then I don't take the setup. Mark this as your at 355.5. So we're looking for something like this potentially for a long. That'll be targeting the value area high. Yeah, but I hope that helps you out. Pretty cool trade. Missed out on that one. Okay. Got a call from a scammer. I'll ignore that. All right, we're looking at pump. Yeah, we can look at pump and see if this thing actually started pumping yet. I don't think I have a pump chart, so I'll have to look at it on here. PUMP. Oh, it did start pumping this time. Okay. So we broke past our supply concern that we drew out. Last time we were here, we marked this as a key level for longs. Looks like it did well. We came up, surpassed this local valley area, and then eventually hit the supply concern. So congrats to anyone who might have taken that. Let's zoom out a bit. We can delete. We don't want to delete it. Waste our time. We got this zone mitigated. So now we're going to rotate this to where we currently are. Let's delete this. We don't need this anymore. Don't need this anymore. We can adapt the fixed range volume profile pole to here. We're at the valley area high. Try to use it as support. Include this supply concern. Now we mitigated it. Okay, so this is our new chart for pump. We'll mark our valley area high. Okay. We don't need this anymore either. We'll keep this on, actually. This whole thing is actually a concern. This whole area. Right here. So if we come back up, even the low, we could hit our head off of that along the way up. So I'll just mark this whole thing as a valley area. Mark your valley area low as a barrier concern, and mark the wick low as well. Get your magnet tool out, connect it properly here. There we go. Okay. So we have a few scenarios for pump based on the local price action. I'll zoom out just to make sure. But here we're approaching the valley area high, which we could use as a form of support. Whereas most assets are actually trying to approach their valley area low, preparing for a long. So pump right now, it's actually finally got some relative strength instead of some relative weakness because this thing is getting its butt kicked for a while, right? So we could use this as a form of support. We have a little demand zone here. We have order blocks here. We have the valley area high here. So we have lots of reasoning to prepare for bullish structure. And if we get that bullish structure, let's say we get that like a 15-minute change of character reaction at this area, we'd first have to treat this as the potential range high, where we could end up inducing a range above of this valley area, which is very, 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 very common for us to build a new valley area right on top of another one. So if we get that bullish change of character here, treat this like the potential extreme high that we might not be able to breach. But if we breach past it and we get that break of structure continuation, then your next area of concern is here, right? So if we do get that bounce and confirm that we're going to leave this valley area and not range, then we could potentially get acceptance into this valley area to extend our target to this high. But you have to watch this as a very concern. So if you get the opposing change of character here, I'd listen to it and prepare to get out. At least take some profits off the table. If we zoom out, I just want to see macro. There's not very much macro to this, but it does look like it's finally starting to try to establish a form of support instead of constantly going into price discovery to the downside. Making that daily. We need to see the daily close above this wick here. If we don't get the daily close above the wick, then we could see a daily SFP. And if we get a daily SFP, then we're likely going to return back down to this valley area low. So you definitely want to see the daily candle above here in about 8 hours. So I'll just make sure I label it daily level. We need a body close above here. And with 8 hours left before that occurs, I think it's definitely possible for Pump to be able to get up there, no problem. We got a lot of bullish posture. You know, Bitcoin's approaching its value area low, so this might come down lower. So hopefully by then, yeah, we'll see that close above here. That's what you're looking for. I'll save this and go back to Bitcoin. Okay, so we looked at a large list of assets. See ENA, Solana, Gala. I'm running out of time, guys, so I'm gonna check out Solana. Yeah, I'll be able to do 3 more. I'll do Solana, ENA, and XRP. Well, I guess I'll just do what's on our star list right now. We have 5 on our star list. I'll crush through this for you guys. I got a lot of catching up to do because I've been on a holiday for 3 days, so lots of tiny little tasks to catch up on. Okay. All right, we got Solana looking like it's trying to. It's like it's leading the race. Let's see. So I'm just gonna turn this off here. What we look at last. So Solana, last thing we looked at was this downtrend momentum. We had the double bottom. We had the measurable target here. We broke past it. We hit our supply concern. And we actually started to range after that and got a higher target. So target extension, and we hit, we just missed it. So the supply concern got undercut after we failed to get like proper full-on acceptance into this previous valley area. This valley area from here to here. All right. Congrats to anyone who took that. Pretty clean setup, honestly. We're back pretty much around the same levels. We have this valley area low here. Kind of bouncing off that right now. We have this steep momentum. Right here that broke. We had our change of character reaction on the 5. Let's give you that inverse head and shoulders vibe. Upside down Batman. You know, here is our technical target at the valley area high with the VWAP concern supply zone. So here I'd prepare for potential rejection that could bring us back down to the valley area low. But yeah, this thing's bullish right now. Watch your head around here. But yeah, this is your target. This is your uptrending momentum. Around here, I'd prepare for potential shorts. If you get the bearish change of character reaction. Yeah, things are looking bullish right now for Solana. Kind of has relative strength right now. Yeah, everything else is kind of preparing for its positioning, whereas Solana's kind of already there. If we do break past this level, then obviously we might get an SFP around here, but yeah, right now it's looking strong. Okay, that's Solana, guys. ENA. I don't think we have an ENA chart. No, okay, let's pull up ENA then. Yeah, so this is looking weak in comparison to if we just looked at Solana and how its positioning looks bullish, and this one looks rough. We have this demand zone that we're approaching here. Oops, I just pulled a fixed. Oh, no, that's not fixed. Wrong one. Here we go. Pretty big area of interest. Zoom out for a second. What were we looking at last time? Okay, so last time we were looking at its positioning being above the valley area, this previous valley area high. Look for a support bounce here, expecting some turbulence here. It managed to go higher up before getting that pullback. But we found support and got the continuation up to our more macro supply concern up here. So congrats to anyone who might have taken that long. We have this new value, this new fixed range pull we can do here. Delete this. The volume node looks weak here, so I wouldn't be preparing for longs in this area. The volume node looks strong. So the bottom side of it, where we got that bounce right here, was off that volume node right here. There's a lot of interest in this area. To compare for potential longs here, we got confluence of, let's see if we have a Fibonacci confluence from this low to this high. Our 786 to our golden pocket pretty much encases the entire area of interest. So around this area, you can prepare for potential opposing changes of character. So if you're in on any shorts, it's a good exit plan if you have that opposing reaction in this area. It does, like, structurally, it looks like a little demand zone here, so you might not be able to breach past this golden pocket. So just be aware that this could be the floor, and it might not breach past it. So if you get that bullish structure prior to how I've drawn it, you might see it come back up to return to this supply concern. I would personally love to enter along if we swept this low at the valley area line, like the valley area low, with a 15-minute order block. Yeah. If I were to pick and choose where I would want long, I'd be patient enough to wait for the ENA sweep here, like 553. Oh, yes, yeah, 53, 53. Yeah, 53.36. Really transparent short up here, though. The short was like easy mode. It lost momentum at a value area high. We had the change of character right here. So at this point, when this candle came down and broke below this VWAP and got this change of character reaction, all my rules have been met from here. So you can use this as your stop loss guard. and you still be targeting down here. And this is your main concerns right here along the way. To get acceptance into here, it'd be very easy for us to get that full return to the value area low despite where the point of control is. It's where our volume shelf starts. Getting that full rotation down will be quick. Well, not quick, but a lot easier once you get that acceptance of that volume node past that shelf. If it makes it easier for you to track, then you want to mark a horizontal ray right here. Oh, my bad, sec. Right here, where that volume shelf starts. I'll get that redrawn for that path. So that's E and A. Back to Bitcoin. We have the chat. Did we check on Solana? Yep, we checked Solana. Another request, INIT. What on earth is that? INIT. Oops, my bad. Lost momentum. Where are we? Zoom out on the daily quick. How old's this thing? Okay, it hasn't been listed on Binance for very long. So daily momentum. Supply zone. To mitigate that supply zone. Next one's up here. Let's go to the 15. My mouse somehow went to the other monitor. Okay. Come on, computer. Just trying to keep up. Let's delete some of these tabs. Sorry, guys. Usually it's, I would say usually it's not this low, but lately it's always been this kind of slow. All right, let's get Teao. There we go. Now it's speeding up. I got more tabs than what you're seeing here. I got another monitor too. Okay, so we broke down trading momentum at the more macro valley area low here, right? So here, if we start, the pace of the sellers have shifted. The buyers have kind of caught up from here. We hit our head off this supply concern. We had a 15-minute order block that we mitigated, and then we came down, lost momentum. We're currently below the VWAP, and we could return back down to the point control again. And from here, like we're trying to get the price action back up to the value area high. Let's see if we flip bullish, but see from the low here to the high, after we lost that momentum, our golden pocket is aligned with the point of control. We have a small little demand zone here where we have this impulse move up. Got the base, the impulse move up here. And we do have one here right in front of our face, right here, that we hit the breakthrough first. And this could be trying to hold us up for that continuation up to the more macro value area high. But if we break past this and we lose this level, I can see it's very easily coming back down to the 618 level here at 41.25. But this is our last little dude to hold us up. Let's mark it as demand. Kind of force into lower time frames. You can see we kind of fully mitigated it here, so it's gotten a lot weaker. If we get that full body candle close below this wick, you can expect that continuation to that macro golden pocket that we spoke about down there. Let's see, pull back. We get a tweezer reaction right now. Got 1 minute left on the candle. Close above the VWAP. We can expect a return back to this local high. If you have that kind of tweezer reaction, they're usually pretty damn bullish. But where they close is really important. If they engulf, you have much better response from it to bring you to that local high. So you want to see that engulfing response, but there's only about 40 seconds left to have it close above that VWAP will be really important for that move up to here. 30 seconds left. But yeah, if you don't get that, you have to wait for more structure. It'll likely get induced to come back down lower. Prepare for an SFP off these wicks. And if you get the SFP, you can still have, you look for the pullback high and then take that out. Internal strong highs is usually where the SFPs target. So you got to watch them as your primary target if you get that SFP. Where's our horizontal ray? It's over here. So we'll mark this level right here. All right, candle close. Tweezer bottom, but didn't engulf. Doesn't mean it won't go up, but it does mean it's less likely. Just trying to get this magnet tool its hat. There we go. And we get past this VWAP. Prepare for our sweep and return down. This is a little supply concern here. This is your local demand right here. And it's causing this little squeeze event between the two. Just kind of what's left is right here to this little guy here. Yeah, other than that, there's not really much to prepare for. It just looks like it's trying to get that stronger continuation. Got to break that local high at 45.41 for you in order for you to get it. Ever since we broke that downtrending momentum, this more macro valley area, It's trying to get that return to the value area high, but there's a lot of little barriers along the way. Oh, it's a 4-hour pullback. Yeah, there's a strong key level up here that we got to break past. If we break past that, then you're very, very likely to see it get to that 4-hour high. Or the value area high, sorry. The 4-hour order block. That's INIT. Gala. Actually, I'm really curious about Gala. How it's doing in that. Like, I don't hold any Gala, but I've been watching it a lot lately. It does provide you those crazy swing opportunities. Because this is Gala's. Like this is a macro valley area that's been in for 1,132 days. Whenever you get these breaks of momentum at these valley area lows or at the highs, you tend to get amazing swing bound trades. And right now, it's kind of giving me DOT vibes, but it has a little bit of strength against DOT because DOT is always struggling near its valley area low. But it is giving me that kind of vibe where it's trying to get you that full return back up to the valley area high. It's just struggling to do so with a large double bottom neckline. We got a slight undercut. From where we are now to the valley area high is about 158% return. We hit our head off this supply concern here, which induced this neckline for a pullback. We broke this momentum here, which gave us the target of this high, but we struggled at the value area high. We hit our head off that. Now we're coming back down. We deviated away from that previous valley area low after right here and losing. Yeah, sorry, I just lagged out for a second. But yeah, we lost this valley. We deviated away from this valley area here. We hit our head off of the valley area low. We got that break of structure continuation while simultaneously losing the macro point of control. So we could come back down, return to this demand zone here. It'd be a great spot hold around this level too. Like a spot buy. Not financial advice, of course, but this asset is it's a really good spot historically for accumulation. And the return, if you're jumping in on like the internal like change of character reaction, then you could potentially get as high as 168% gains, but you got to watch that neckline. And that, but to the neckline, still 62%. I'd mark like this new momentum here. Just be mindful of it. Zoom in on the 15-minute. Last time we looked at it was this little, we're preparing for the change of character reaction off this lows here. We definitely got it, but it was on the off of the value area low. The previous value area low data here from this value area range allowed us to target the value area high while being mindful of the supply concern at this point of control. So that one did well. Now we're waiting for something similar off this demand zone. We're looking for that change of character reaction off these lows. Similar to everything else where we had that fast-paced drop, we do have a wick to define an SFP location. And hopefully we get it. If we don't have to take it, but if we do get that pullback, lower low, and then break this level, we can get the change of character sooner rather than later. But this is a good spot right here to prepare for accumulation. And it looks like when we had that bounce, we bounced into this previous demand zone here. Yeah, Gala could be a good hold. Let's see. XRP request from Brett. This thing's got to be cooling down, right? Okay. Yeah, last time we looked at XRP, we were looking at this key level right here that we wanted to have broken. And if broken, we'd be watching for bearish reactions off of one of these two levels. And let's see what we would have if anyone jumped in on that. I could see some people getting scared out here for sure. This is a bearish 15-minute change of character. But yeah, we ended up hitting our final zone of interest before having basically a V-shaped rejection straight down from here. We can delete this now that we're back down to these lows. We could leave this here because like all we gotta do is just change our reasoning, right? Our reasoning is changed from here to here. We can adapt that level. Looks like we're building a bit of a rounded bottom here, right? This is evidence of buyers' confidence starting to build up again, basically. And we're doing that at a valley area low. This is the valley area high, valley area low from previous valley area data. I can zoom out really quick. See where it came from. Let's go 4 hour. It's from our previous high where we consolidated a bit before we start building this large macro range here, right? So we're trying to hold support off of that. We want XRP to like hold this as much as we possibly can and consolidate to allow a strong continuation. Otherwise, this could just turn into a range extension with this being the low and this being the previous high, with this being the new high. And having a range extension, that'd be just terrible for XRP, in my opinion. Or at least the trader or anyone who's holding would just be like, feel a little bit miserable if you got that acceptance back inside this valley area again. We could lose this level, but it would definitely bring us a lot closer to this valley area high that could scare that, get scare traders into seeing that potential acceptance and full rotation back down to this level. Um, we do have some like evidence of buyers potentially wanting to get in around here. We could range from here to here instead, but I'm hoping that we hold this level. We are in an area of, we have some bullish confluence here. We did sweep. Did we sweep that low? Or are we just really freaking close? So we get that low is $3 even. This low is, just barely above it, like a micro penny above it. So this was front run by like a micro penny. Rude. I'm going to grab a fib from this low to this high and see what's going on here. Okay, we're at the equilibrium point right now. From the impulse move here to here, we hit the 886. Our 15-minute structure is a little frustrating. We got 5-minute structure that's gone bullish. Our 15-minute change of characters until way up here because we didn't have any healthy pullbacks on that time frame. We just got a bunch of single candle pullbacks. Not that these levels aren't important. It's just, we're gonna have to look at the 5-minute time frame. We have 5-minute supply concern here. We have this move down, build a base, impulse move down. So we got a supply barrier here. Cause some short-term turbulence. Send this back. So if you want to see that stronger continuation to this high, what you want to see, you'll probably see a pullback around here, retest this neckline, hopefully get that break of structure to define a continuation up. But if we instead get that change of character, we'll be coming right back down to these lows. So this is a critical spot you got to watch out for. It's your bearish case scenario, and then there's your bullish case scenario here. But either way, I'll be personally looking for longs here. Where's the... If we get the 3 drives or potential Wyckoff accumulation level, get a Model 1. Or we can just sweep this low here. And then targeting the extreme highs up here. That's XRP, man. But yeah, it's in a really good spot. I'd say we're in a bullish spot where you want to get that full return. You want to be mindful of these highs here, but overall, if we breach past them, this is your next spot right here. I'll mark this as a key level right here. I'll delete this and redraw. Here. That's what I'll be looking for. Thanks for charting. No problem, man. All right, guys. I got to go. Task manager absolutely crying for help. Yeah. I got to head out, guys. It's nice being back to the charts. Had like a tech detox for about 3 days. It's kind of nice getting that reset. And yeah, we'll get back to that challenge. Try to grow that account back up. I'm excited. I will be announcing some changes, or not changes, some updates to the community. We got a new tool I'm working on. I've been working on for about, I don't know, 6 months or so. So I'm excited to release that to you guys. It's a new signal tool that will help provide entry alerts and exit alerts. But it's like pretty next level. It's pretty cool. But yeah, guys, you have a great day. Appreciate everyone who's been following, liking, subscribing, sharing. We've been growing even while I was gone, which is pretty cool. Got some subscribers even while I was away. Yeah, if you guys have any friends who are trying to learn about trading and they want to be able to ask some questions in a safe spot, you guys can share them over here, bring them over here, and I'll do my best to help them grow. Yeah, lots of fun. Will the tool be accessible in both Fanova and InvestShare? The Fanova side, they kind of stopped growing. Don't think I'll be able to put it in both spots, but I can try. Thanks for love, got our gang. Oh yeah, is that our gang? No problem, guys. All right, guys, you have a great day. Reach out to me in Discord. I got a lot of DMs to catch up on. A little daunting amount of DMs, so I might be kind of slow catching up to you guys if you send me new DMs. I'll prioritize the server stuff first to catch up to everyone who's messaged me in the server, and then I'll catch up to your DMs if anyone's waiting on me to respond back to you guys. All right, guys, you have a great day, and yeah, reach out to me if you need help with anything. Bye.